Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in that deal. Just took a flight to Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, bonjour. I been come to go so we going Paris tomorrow. Only bags we carry, spin at the mall. We doing singing Malone. My diamonds be saying, add some more. Change, that's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.
Yo, what's good, everybody? How y'all doing? I'm a Passport Bros doing this Saturday afternoon. So, plan on having a very informative show today. A returning guest, well known in the travel community and in the YouTube space, and viral TikToker. I want to welcome Austin Holloman again, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm glad for you to have me today.
Appreciate it, man. Let me see who I got in the chat so far. SR gave me the glow. Hey, let's get it, bro. John Thomas, good afternoon. Good afternoon, bro. Nate in your state, man. Make sure you check Nate in your state out, man. Love his content, man. What's good, man? What's good? So yeah, man. So I wanted to do a more informative topic, man, on Brazil. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people that haven't been to Brazil, or even the ones that have been to Brazil a few times, you know, they kind of do the same trip. Most don't know the language. Typically hitting up Rio, maybe Sao Paulo, and just pretty much following like this basic, agenda of sorts. So I wanted to, because I've traveled through Brazil extensively. You've been to Brazil, and you're one of the few brothers that I'm aware of that can speak good Portuguese. So I was like, you know what? Let me put together a stream to really tell guys how to do Brazil in a more better way and to get a better outcome in that travel. So I kind of wanted to phrase this first portion as PPP, Portuguese pipeline, and being present. So I'll put present because that's important. But first, we're going to talk about learning Portuguese. Global Paper in the building, Models and Bottles for Life versus King, Shoe Game Bananas, Falar Portuguese Muito Necessário, 17 years in Brazil. Ace Diamond says, shout out to PPP and Austin. Get your passports, my Western Society brothers. All over Brazil, multiple states and cities. Portuguese, pipe, and presence. Yes, sir. So, yeah, man, let's get to it, man. So, I'm going to give you the floor, man. Talk about learning Portuguese. Talk about how you was able to pick it up. Can people pick it up just as quick as you can pick it up? And then also talk about things that you may have in the works as far as helping brothers learn Portuguese muito rápido.
So I'm gonna actually in Portuguese you would say muito rápido because the R is the H. Muito rápido. Okay. I actually prefer Portuguese over Spanish. I think it's a more fancier sounding language. I'm in the process of learning Spanish right now, but it's hard to learn. For me, it's hard to learn Spanish when I know Portuguese because of the pronunciations. And to piggyback off of that, if you know Spanish already, Portuguese will be fairly easy to learn because you'll understand the organizations of words and how that language. The language is spoken very similar, just different pronunciations. Like I said, I learned Portuguese using Duolingo. It took me, like I said before, it took me about 8 months to get it down where I knew like 75% of my course, fluently. I know last time, somebody tried to come over here and say I didn't know. One word I didn't know, but I know what I'm talking about. I know how to speak Portuguese. I know what I'm talking about. Duolingo is very effective because it gamifies learning Portuguese. It gives you the verbal, like it'll make you what is it, the auditory, visual, the different ways of learning. So you have to type it in Portuguese from English, vice versa, speak it and vice versa, word match vocabulary, that type of thing, storytelling. And I recommend doing that 1 to 2 hours a day. I was doing 2 hours a day, and I became, I picked up on it quick. Like in a month, I could pretty much have a small, meaningless conversation. Right. And by 8 months, I could pretty much have a basic, not a basic, but a general conversation for about 20 minutes. What was the other thing you asked me about Portuguese? It was something else I meant to touch on.
How can other people pick it up just as fast as you were? And then what do you have in the works as far as helping brothers?
So, like I said, 1 to 2 hours a day, listening to music, just studying their culture in their language with subtitles in English, so you can understand the pronunciations. Because from what I've heard in Portugal, things are pronounced slightly more, different than Brazil, just like Spanish is different in the other countries. Going to Brazil will be your best bet because that will force you to learn, because a lot of people in Rio don't know English. Like this, you're going to bump into somebody that's a Brazilian that speaks English, but it's not as common as you would think like it is maybe in Cancun or something like that. But yeah, forcing yourself to be around people that are native speakers of Portuguese, that'll work. And I recommend doing that if you're going down there to talk to women. Just find somebody online to talk to. They're a lot easier to talk to. They're not like the women here. They'll respond to your DMs and get to know you and actually give you a shot. What was the last thing? Sorry.
Oh, what you got in the works for helping brothers?
So I actually have a guy that reached out to me right before I went to Colombia 2 weeks ago. He is a native Brazilian, and he wants to set up a course, like a paid course. I don't think I'm going to do that on Patreon. Some of it will be on YouTube, but the majority, the more in-depth, will be on Patreon or just whatever other membership, probably a YouTube membership. Okay. And he's going to teach people how to speak Portuguese and how to learn Brazilian culture, like how to pick up on, just certain characteristics or traits or behaviors that they do that women will show you to approach them, that kind of stuff. Just like if you were trying to integrate somebody into American society, you would teach them. I know in Portuguese they'll say fala, like speak.
Right.
In the United States, if you walk up to somebody and say speak, that'd be disrespectful.
Right.
Like, that'd be offensive. But in Brazil, that's a thing. It was actually offensive to me. Like, what do you mean speak? Who the hell are you talking to? That's something they do down there. So that's something he would teach you how to learn their culture. Just certain things that you should and shouldn't do.
Now, is fala can it be talked as well?
Yeah.
Interchangeably? Okay.
Fala, I know Giga is tell. So okay. Tell, talk, fala, Giga, yeah.
Well, I see a few comments in the chat. Daniel State said I recommend Hemsler method for general conversation, Duolingo for getting ready, reading and writing with new vocab. I've seen that recommendation a couple times. Rio speaks Portuguese with more slang, where Sao Paulo they speak Portuguese with more formal and straightforward. Item Duolingo. I think the easy way to learn Portuguese is to watch Brazilian cartoons. Take it back to the beginning. Now I see everybody has their own methodology on learning the language. My approach to learning Spanish was to take a semester course at a community college and got my fundamentals down, and I was able to build off those fundamentals. I didn't have to know every word in Spanish to speak Spanish, because what ignorant people don't know is communication is the ability to get another person to know what you're saying. Mm-hmm. That's the fundamental. So if I could get you to know what I'm saying, that's communication. So I wanted to throw that out there. So I was going to ask you. So when I went to Brazil for the first time, I went to Brazil before I went to Spanish-speaking countries, and in my opinion, I thought that hearing Portuguese for the first time, I thought it was more closer to English than Spanish. So I felt like I could pick up Portuguese faster because it's slower. They speak slower, and I felt like some of the words, kind of resemble English versus Spanish was a little bit more different. So I think it's harder to learn Portuguese if you know Spanish. I think it's easier to learn Portuguese first and learn Spanish second. What do you think?
Well, like I said, I know Portuguese and I'm trying to learn Spanish, but I don't know. I wouldn't say necessarily that it's just hard. It's just kind of frustrating or annoying because I'm saying them. They're so similar. It's just a pronunciation, knowing some of the spelling. But I wouldn't say I don't think that Portuguese is similar to English. That's what you said, right?
Well, it's slow. It's slower than Spanish, and something I was able to pick up. I was able to pick up because it sounded like an English. It sounded like an English, word. 3 to 6 months depending on the person. I found it more easy. I found Portuguese easier to pick up than Spanish for a first time international travel. But once I learned Spanish, Portuguese seems harder to me now. Because I'm thinking about the Spanish alphabet, and that's another thing too. Like knowing the alphabet A to Z and how each word is pronounced will help your language a bit. Like I ask a lot of people that speak or that say they speak another language, I ask them to recite the alphabet and the vowels. So I don't know the Brazilian vowels. Is that something that you have gone over, like A, E, I, O, U?
I've reviewed the Brazilian Portuguese alphabet, but I don't know it by heart.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah. I don't know it at all. But you did correct me on something, that the R in Portuguese have the H sound, because sometimes we say Rio de Janeiro, and then I hear people say Rio
de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro. So that's the correct term.
Rio de Janeiro. My bad. I said she. Rio de Janeiro.
Rio de Janeiro. So what would you kind of say for the brother that's traveling to Brazil for the first time? Let's say he bought his flight. Let's say 9 months to a year in advance. When should he start trying to pick up Portuguese, and how long do you think the average brother will kind of pick up some things?
I think he should pick up Portuguese before he buys his flight. I think you should pick up a second language, just because in every other country in the world, just about everybody else can speak at least 2 languages. That's pretty much just the United States, where just about everybody knows one language, which is English and Ebonics. That's all we know in the States. And some people just know Ebonics. So, you said how long would it take them?
Yeah, how long, if they go as hard as you went, how long could they expect to know some basic Portuguese?
Like I said, in a month, max 2 months. If you're practicing 2 hours a day, you should be able to order food, greet. You should be able to do the basic. Don't expect to do a lot, but you should be able to do the basic things in about a month or 2.
Okay. So my last question on this topic is, you kind of had an advantage because you went to Brazil for the first time with some Portuguese under your belt. How would your experience been different if you didn't know any Portuguese?
So the guy I went with, he didn't know any Portuguese at all. And so he had to spend the entire time on the translator. And as far as women went, that really, I'm not going to say that it didn't deter women in Brazil like it did in Colombia. When I was in Medellin, outside of the tourist zone, if you didn't know Spanish, you had a really hard time. You had a really hard time if you didn't know Spanish, because they just thought you were automatically down there just to pay for play and all that. In Brazil, not so much. I guess it's because it's not as many foreigners in Rio as there are. There are a lot of foreigners in Rio.
Okay.
It's a big tourist zone, but it's not like Medellin. There was too many of us down there. So, if you don't know Portuguese in Brazil, at least for Rio, they'll work with you on the translator. The majority of them.
Okay, that's good to know. So I kind of want to talk about the second part of this PPP, which is pipelining. So I didn't catch what did you do as far as like lining up women, but tell some guys what sources they can use, what dating apps, dating websites, or any sources you think is good to meet regular non-working women.
So my Patreon, I actually had a little course thing I did one time, but I won't be doing it again because there's just so many snitches out here, just so many troublemakers. I would show dudes how you could get on Instagram and you could just go find a famous club or a bar or a tourist location in Rio or whatever city you want to go to. Type it in on Instagram and switch it to locations. Click on the location. Look at her. You're gonna find someone. I can guarantee you. You look at her. You look at her friends. So, like, if you go right there to your search bar at the top, and you type in Arena Paisu, which is ARENA, and then put para, space para, ISO. So you can see it right there, that one at the top. If you click on one of the, click on that photo of that chick right there on the left, yeah. Does it have the location tag under the, so click on the location under their account.
Arena.
Yep. So you would do this. Did it take you to it? Or let me see. Click the. It should when you click that arena. Yeah, click that. So now you can pretty much see. I haven't seen all this yet, but you can see click. You see the girl in the orange dress. Click on the one under her.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, she is. You would follow her. And the reason I say follow her is because you want the algorithm to pick it up. I'm pretty sure you can get the algorithm to pick it up just off liking a bunch of their photos, in another country. But I wanted to make sure it goes. So I will follow her, go through her comments, find her friends, follow a few of them, go through their comments, follow them, like their photos. And if you do that for 3 days straight, it'll show you nothing but Brazilian chicks from now on. And now it's kind of effortless now for me to find new ones because if I go to my Explore page, that's all I see.
Look at her buddy. I'm just like, oh my god. Oh.
Yeah, I'm going back. I'm going back, and I might not come back.
Oh man, Brazil got them. I mean, I am a Colombia head. You know what I mean? The Paisas is just on another planet, but Brazil, man, is just like you can't when it comes to dimes and just flawlessness, skin,
they be flawless, flawless, nice teeth, like you said, curly hair. They got that super sexy ass tan.
No dimple, no cottage cheese in their legs.
Yeah. Oh no, they all fit.
So I want to show this real quick. So Rio, I don't know if you made it to Casa Black yet, but this is okay. So yeah, this is the only black club in Brazil, and for those that
want Brazil,
we're the only black club in Rio de Janeiro. I'm sorry.
Let me see that one right there with the yellow. That one that looks kind of Asian. Wait, go down.
Right here.
Go down. No, down a little more. That one right there with the two. The other one.
This one?
No, the other one next to it. I guess I don't know if that's yellow or orange, but yeah, that one on the right is nice.
Yeah. Bad, man. You know what I mean? It's definitely I've been a couple times. Definitely for guys that want a sister, black woman, but not in the United States, but Brazil. This is definitely a good club to hit up. You know what I mean? Casa Black Rio. So I wanted to point that out too, man. Colombia, Medellin got some nice Afro-Colombians too. They got some nice Afro-Colombians too, but I just wanted to show that for a second. Let me see if I got anybody in the comments. So you mentioned Instagram. as a way to kind of set up or meet women, do things to kind of get you in an algorithm. I know talking to Brazilian guys, I know they say Tinder is the number one app in Brazil. I'm not aware of Bumble, but I know Bumble works well in a lot of countries for regular women. What's your thoughts on Tinder and or Bumble if you're familiar with it?
I have no luck on dating apps, whatever country I'm in. I don't know what the hell is up with that. And we can't say it's the pictures because my Instagram, I've got a lot of chicks off Instagram, so it's not the pictures. I don't know what it is, but I've met one chick off of Tinder one time. I mean, she was in Brazil. I mean, she was still better than the average American chick you meet on Tinder, but for Brazil, she wasn't. I recommend going on Instagram or like doing what we just did, or just actually just going there. But I prefer doing Instagram. Dating apps, I don't know. I don't know what my problem is with dating apps.
I feel you, man. Yeah, utilize Instagram, man. I always recommend hashtag searches Afro Brazil, or whatever country you're in, Colombiana, Brasileiro. Use the hashtags because you get a lot of women. That's what they put in their pictures, hashtags. And also I do malls too. So if you go to like Rio de Janeiro and you look on Google Maps and see what a popular mall is, and then look for that same mall in Instagram, you'll see women. You see lots of women that way. Universities too. You put a university in, and just like you said, you go through comments, friends list. Like you could be on Instagram all day, just building contacts. So I do agree with that. So anybody that tuned in last night, I streamed with a guy. He's working on a dating app that kind of showed you your global sexual market value. So anybody that tuned in last night, you could check it out. But he pretty much has a service where whatever cities you want him to look at, he'll set your profile up on these different dating apps, and he'll give you data to say these are the cities where you will have the most success. So I thought that was very interesting.
Who was that?
It was a white guy. He reached out to me and said that he has this app coming out, and he wanted to kind of introduce me to his audience. So I'll send you the information. You could check it out. But he's actually offering two. It's going to be a paid service, but he actually is offering two free services for people that wants to be a part of his demo. You know what I mean? So I'll put that in the chat for people that want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely promote that.
Yeah, it was a lot of game. Man of Tomorrow, what's good, bro? Yeah, it was a lot of information, and he has a service where you can basically utilizing Tinder and WhatsApp to build your roster up. So I'm gonna share that in a minute. So I wanted to kind of transition to in addition to pipelining, I want to talk about presence, and I got some other line items that I want to discuss. So I wanted to kind of share with the audience, especially those that are not familiar. So in the Passport Bro space or the travel space in YouTube, there are several content creators that speak highly of Brazil. Shout out to Brazil Yesh. Shout out to It's J. Clyde. Shout out to DJ P. John, Dennis John Pierre. BMT spent time in Brazil as well. And if there's some other people that I haven't mentioned yet, shout out to Black Man Travels. You know what I mean? They're a Brazil heavy group. So as far as the content creators, I know me and Dennis. Dennis been to, I want to say about 12 to 13 cities in Brazil. I've been to 14 cities in Brazil. You know what I mean? So this was another reason I wanted to put this stream out, was because that by myself and a few others that's been to multiple cities in Brazil, there's more to offer than Rio and Sao Paulo. I've been to Rio, I've been to Fortaleza, Salvador, Recife, Maceió, Aracaju, San Luis, Belém, Macapa, Victoria, Belo Horizonte, Porto Seguro, Ilhéus, and Sao Paulo. So that's 14. So when it comes to pipelining, I wanted to throw out there is that from my experience as a decent looking black man from the United States, I got the most matches on Tinder from like Fortaleza, Maceió. Those was like the top two. Belo Horizonte has some potential too. So just in case you guys want to kind of expand your horizons, I would recommend definitely Fortaleza. I definitely would recommend Maceió, and I definitely would recommend Belo Horizonte, and even San Luis. So I want to, I'll put that in the chat, but I want you guys have to expand your cities, especially if you want to date or have a girlfriend in Brazil. So I wanted to put that out there. So we went to how to learn Portuguese, cities to visit in Brazil for dating. So when you go back to Brazil again, do you think, are there any cities that you might want to add next time you go?
I'll be in Rio, Sao Paulo, Salvador.
Okay, Salvador. Okay. So I'm very interested. I've been to Salvador once, but I didn't really go hard. I plan on going in December. When you do go, and if you don't mind sharing when you think you might plan to go, how long do you think you want to spend in Salvador, and what do you want to kind of explore when you're out there?
I need to stay at least 2 weeks. I'm going to Salvador one because, to be honest, it reminds me of like being like the New Orleans of Brazil.
Okay.
Because it's I'm not saying it's voodoo, but New Orleans has that type of vibe. That super rich African culture mixed with the colonists. But I'm just really into black women, so that's where they at from what I've understood or from what I've heard. About Salvador, so I want to go over there because they're in Rio too. But I just heard Salvador is mostly black, from my understanding. So, yeah,
right. I think Salvador has the highest concentration of blacks, and I just want to show y'all real quick because I did a lot of research to help guys not waste their time, and that is something that I see Austin Holloman do, is that he's giving information so guys don't waste their time. The more information you have, the better decisions that you can make. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So I just want to show you guys a map of Brazil. Let me go to Brazil real quick. Brazil is a big ass country. It is a big ass country. So hold on, let me see. So just to kind of highlight, so when I visited cities in Brazil, what my goal was to basically see where all the black people were. And any country that has slaves pretty much were on the coast. So you got here, where's Rio de Janeiro at? So you got Rio de Janeiro. Let me zoom out for a bit. So you got Rio de Janeiro right here, which is on the coast. And then you have Sao Paulo right here. And then you have Salvador. So Salvador is pretty much like the mecca of where black people, were imported. And then most of the cities that I listed, they're all on the coast. So I visited every city in the coast just so I could tell you guys, are there black people? Where are the black people in these coastal cities? And what I found with my research was that Salvador had the highest concentration of black people. And then this neighboring city, Aracaju, I've seen a lot of black people as well. But yeah, Salvador, I definitely would say that would be number one as far as black women. Rio, I would say Rio, Belo Horizonte, because Belo Horizonte is not too far from Rio de Janeiro. And then Aracaju, which is not too far from Salvador. So in my opinion, those are the cities that will probably have the most spillover of black people. So I just wanted to make sure I shared that, share that with y'all. So my next topic is ways to get more time off work. So you have a lot of guys that basically may have a job and may get a two week vacation. What ways do you think guys could, or what do you think guys could do to have more time off from work?
That's a really tough question. That's a really tough question because it's so situational. What could guys do to have more time off of work besides getting another job or finding some way of self-employment? It's not really much I can tell you. If you're working as in corporate, I don't know, at Staples, let's say, if they only allow you so many days off, I mean, I can't really help you with that. When the best bet is to find a remote job like software engineering, or I have a job list where it's even like what is it? What is a call, like a call center job? Where they're
Okay.
only you're making like $30 an hour, but that's nothing in the States, but overseas that's a lot. In Brazil that's like $150 an hour. So you might just have to do an entire career switch.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that because I get this question asked a lot. They like I work a 9 to 5, I get a basic 2 week vacation. So a couple things you can do. One, depending on if you're hourly, you can possibly, depending on your supervisor or your job, you can say, well, if I'm required to work 40 hours a week, sometimes employers will let you work your 40 hours. Let's just say, like, next week I want to work Monday through Thursday because I want to have Friday off. I don't want to use a vacation day. So I work 40 hours, 10-hour days for 4 days. I got Friday off. So now I have basically a 3-day weekend. I can hit up, you maybe could hit up Colombia or DR. So it won't be practical. 3-day weekend is not practical for Brazil. So for Brazil, since we're talking about Brazil, I would say in your next job search, if you have the leverage, I would leverage more vacation than more salary. I've did this before. So if I typically could make 6 figures with a 2 week vacation, and I have a valuable skill set, I could say, you know what, I'll take less money. I'll take 80,000 for 3 or 4 weeks vacation. So that's some things I recommend to guys as well. But that requires you, getting a different job to get more time off from work. Let's see. Buck Travel says ways to find more time off from work. Find a Fortune 100 company that has unlimited PTO and then get employed by them. I never heard of a company.
Yeah, that's what I was reading it.
You could get a remote job. Yeah. You can get a remote job. So a job change to get a remote job, which kind of brings me to this question: jobs. So, what are jobs or career paths that would allow you to be in Brazil for 30 to 90 days?
The number one job that I always hear, like I said before, is software engineering or cybersecurity. Those allow you to work remote. And like he said down here, that you could use a VPN to hide your location. I wouldn't recommend hiding. I mean, I've never, worked a remote job, but I can only imagine if they called you in, you need to be there at a certain time, and the nearest flight is 10 hours away. That might kind of blow your cover. But software engineering, anything that's IT STEM, related jobs.
Yeah. No, yeah. A lot of guys that I know that spend time in Brazil, they work in IT, work from home. Like I said, I know I know it may be saturated right now, but I do know a lot of truck drivers, whether they work for a company or they're independent, they do have a lot more flexibility. So that's a career path where people have more time off. I mentioned before my work as a chemist, instead of me taking permanent roles where I would be locked into a 2 or 3 week vacation, I decided that I wanted to just take contract roles. So I prefer to have a 9-month contract. So then, I work 9 months and then I'm getting unemployment. And then, I'm basically out the country until I'm ready to pick up another contract. So I know some people do it like that. It's not conducive for everybody because if you're a contract worker, and you're only making $40,000 a year, and in 90 days, you're not making a lot of money. But like if you're making like $100,000 a year, and 9 months out the year, you're basically making $75,000 in 9 months. So in some instances, you can afford to not work for 3 months to kind of take care of yourself and necessities, but that is another option as well. So IT, truck driving, doing contract work will kind of give you the flexibility to be in 90 days. So this kind of ties into the third part of presence, because what I've picked up on with Brazilian women opposed to Colombian women and Dominican women is that Brazilian women, from my experience, were not interested in long distance interactions, especially if they expected me to travel every 2 to 3 months. So for relationship purposes, a Brazilian woman wants to know that you're going to be there or be able to stay there on, more on a longer basis. So being present is important. And so that's why I want to prepare guys. If you want a relationship with a Brazilian woman, you have to have a career that allows you to be in that country for longer than, a short vacation. I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, I had a chick that as long as I came every 3 months, she was fine with that. At first, I wasn't going to do every 3 months. I went in February. I was like, oh, I'll come back in August. And she's like, okay, well, I'll just date somebody else while you're gone. And she was serious. So, yeah, 5 months is a long time. That's a long time. So I wouldn't expect it anyway. But I seen somebody said, what do you say right here? I think we have a misunderstanding about unlimited PTO, because when I hear paid time PTO, I'm thinking paid time off, meaning that I'm off, but I'm still getting paid. I think what I'm trying to say is remote work, because if you have unlimited paid time off, that means you just don't go to work.
Right. He said Airbnb lets employees work anywhere in the world. Yeah, that's remote. That's pretty much remote work. So with presence, what I was going to say about being present. So you want to have a career that allows you to be in that country. Now, Brazilian women are very sexual. They're very sexual. They have a sex drive like men, for the most part. So I don't care how good of a girl she is, how loyal she can be. If she wants to smash. So you talking about coming every, like you said, 5 months. It's not. In my opinion, it's not in a DNA. I think you could get away with being away from a Dominican or a Colombian woman because they can feel that you're close. They can feel that you're only 3 hours away. But Brazilian women, they feel like you're far away. You know what I mean? So it's just like they are very sexual. So you have to be able to meet that need. You know what I mean? Any good girl can cheat. So it's not about how loyal. It's not about how loyal chick is. I've been with virgins that cheated because I was away for so long. I've been with virgins that cheated. So it's not about how good they are. You have to be present. So I'm really want to push guys to be present, to learn Portuguese. All those things is for you to land a regular woman, because if you don't speak Portuguese, you can't go to Brazil talking about you met all these wonderful women, because a guy like me is gonna say you only been dealing with prostitutes if you can't speak Portuguese. There's no way you can deal with regular girls on a large scale and don't speak Portuguese.
Yeah, no, not on a regular basis, no.
So maybe you're younger than me. You're more in touch with this current generation. I am, I'm 41. You know what I mean? I got a son that's 21. About to be 22. So he's like almost 2 years younger than you. You know what I mean? So when I was in college, I knew about foreign exchange programs, but I really didn't see a benefit. What would you recommend somebody to say, you know what, I'm in college, I'm interested in this travel conversation. Brazil seems interesting. There's a hot Brazilian in my class that she goes to school, she goes to my university. What kind of advice would you give to some college students, man, to expose them to Brazil?
I'm gonna have to think about that one for a second, because from my understanding, most college students don't have that much access to funds right now. What I could tell you to do is on spring break is to use your what is it? What is the money? I haven't been to college in like forever, but the
refund.
The refund, yeah. Your loan refund. That's what it is. Yeah. Use that money to go to Brazil. It'll be worth every penny. But what can I tell them to
spring break Brazil? Woo!
Oh, you know what? Spring break is like, that's probably the latest you should go to Brazil, because that's right before it gets cold down there.
You know how fun my spring breaks would have been if I would have went out to another country, bro?
Yeah. I wish I would have thought of that too when I was in college. Yeah.
we think about, I don't know what's the hot spots right now for spring break, but back when I was coming up, it was like Miami, Daytona Beach, Cabo, some places in Texas. I forgot what the San Marcos or something on the coast.
It's in Texas. It's it's far down south though.
I mean, you could definitely get some white girls. You know what I mean? But imagine going to and when I was in college, like my mentality was, when I go to another city, I want to smash. I want to smash something. It wasn't like if I didn't smash nothing, it was a failed mission.
Yeah. Oh, it's still like that.
What's up, Gail, sweetheart? What's up? I seen your channel too, man. I like what you're doing. You know what I mean? So check out Gail Nelson. I've seen her content. She's Guyanese, married, and she definitely understands that foreign women are a good option for for men in general, for especially black men, and that she definitely sees the difference in how men are treated. So shout out to Gail Nelson.
Absolutely. South Padre, yeah, that's it.
South Padre. I've never been to South Padre, but I heard, I've heard some good stories. Kappa Beach Party when it was what it was. I used to live in Houston, but yeah, man. Let's talk about that spring break, bro. So if you're in college, man, like you said, you get the refund checks. In full disclosure, I was one of them people that took out the max, so my refunds was like $5,000. You know what I mean? Shout out to Biden for that for their relief for some student loan debt. I know some people have an issue with that, but $5,000, $5,000 refund check, spring break in March or February or March or April, going to Brazil.
I would actually recommend going to Brazil, not spring break, winter break, because that's when it's summertime.
Okay.
You when it's winter break, I would skip Christmas at home. Go to Brazil. You've seen your family enough. Just go to Brazil.
Winter break, man. I wish I had this information in college, man. I wish somebody like you was present, because they like, man, y'all want to go to Brazil? Because we used to go to New Orleans for like Mardi Gras too, around in the winter time, but and that's like carnival time. So going to Brazil as a 18, 19, 20-year-old, 21-year-old, you could legally drink, right?
Yep, at 18.
You could drink legally at 18. You're around these beautiful women. You definitely gonna smash. And man, that is what type of effect would somebody 18 or 21 have going to Brazil and just seeing it? What type of effect would they have once they get back and semester starts back in January?
It would be the same effect I have now. I would come back just like angry. Like, I'm done. I don't want to fuck with y'all no more. I'm still like that. It's getting worse. I mean, I'm not actually angry. I was. Now I just don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to be invited anywhere. I'm just ready to go to Thailand next. So yeah, that's the same effect we have. Like, I'm just ready to get out of here. I would probably drop out of college. I would drop out of college for sure. Or switch to a studying abroad type of thing. However you do that, I would figure out something. I couldn't be here.
The funniest thing is I resonate with that. I resonate that. I would have definitely probably took a semester off and I would have been because I did that in college anyway. I went to I went to school in Chicago, and then I went to Houston, and then I didn't come back. Let's just say that I didn't come back. You know what I mean? So studying abroad, I damn near might have thought of transferring. Like, let me transfer to a university in Brazil or another country, man, and just finish my degree.
I wish I would have knew. I wish I would have knew back then for sure.
Wow. But yeah, man, you college students, man, or guys in college, man, let them know their options, man. So yeah, I got two more talking points, man. So I want to kind of touch on what if so we just did what if I'm a college student. So what if I'm unemployed? What if I'm retired? And then I have heard from guys, that have some disability. So if you're unemployed, what I mean, what would you how can a person kind of take advantage of being unemployed and maybe travel?
Honestly, if you're unemployed, I don't think you should be traveling at all.
Okay.
I think you need to focus on getting your money right, and yeah, you need to. I mean, what do you think about that? What do you have to say about that? Because I don't think they should be traveling.
I think that I've traveled during a pandemic. I've traveled in periods. I mean, because I work contracts, so there was periods I was unemployed and received unemployment. Shout out to Big Bro Brazil. Yes, he said shout out to the Passport Bros podcast and to your guests. Salute, bro. We love what you're doing, man. You definitely getting the message out there, man. And I like your content strategy, man. So hopefully we could collab soon. But yeah, as far as being unemployed, man, I think that during the pandemic was an example. I knew guys that were able to spend time in Africa. So to your point, yes, you need to definitely focus on getting a job. So during unemployment, if you're getting unemployment, you should be looking for a job. That's number one. If you have expenses, or if you don't have expenses, so if you have an apartment, a lot of times people not able to pay their rent. So if you're able to say, you know what, I need to move out, put my stuff in storage, you can go to Brazil. I've been in Recife where the housing was cheap as hell. Instead of you not being able to pay a $700, $800 rent a month, you go to Brazil and Airbnb something for maybe $200 a month. So sometimes it can help you because you can't with unemployment in some states you can't afford to live in the United States. You're risking an eviction. You're risking you're risking an eviction. You're risking trying to have to live with somebody. I would get a plane ticket. I've done it during times of unemployment. I would get a plane ticket. I will go somewhere where I could afford to live while I'm looking for a job. Now if you are past unemployment compensation, bring your ass back to the U.S.
Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. It's not really a long term. It's just like a take advantage of the moment, go on vacation type of thing. But I don't.
Now, unfortunately, there are some guys in Brazil that I know that bum it out. I'm not gonna get into that, but you don't want to bum it out nowhere. That's not. I'm not gonna advocate for that. So, how do you feel about guys that's retired, or even guys that's disabled? Do you think that a Brazilian woman, maybe they might not be able to get like the best looking woman, but how do you think a Brazilian woman would cater to a man, let's say, that has some type of disability, or medical condition, or retired?
Well, let's make a comparison. You know, in the States, if you were disabled, let's say you're missing an arm, you know, let's if you bringing in about 40 grand a month, you ain't gonna be able to get nobody because you basically have to be a sugar daddy, right? In the United States. Now, if you go to Brazil, it may or may not be the same thing, but you'll at least be able to get an 8. You know, you'll be able to get a pretty above average woman, but not the best Brazilian, like you said. I mean, there's levels of disability too. The guy I just went to Colombia with, he gets a disability check from the military. So that actually, what he's getting is some people's salary, from what I understood, every year. So that can be helpful.
No, I agree, man. I seen it was a show. It was a guy in Mexico. He was like 600 pounds, and he was with a beautiful Mexican woman, and she was like working with him. Somebody tried to shit on him, but it was a guy in the Philippines, and he's disabled. He got like oxygen tubes up his nose, but he has a beautiful Filipino woman that takes care of him. You know what I mean? And you know,
I've seen that. I think.
Yeah. So I mean, that is like, I mean, to live however you might live out your last days. Like I would want to live it out around a woman that I'm attracted to. That's going to be, you know what I mean? That's going to take care of me, and she knows when I die, like she's going to be straight for the most part. You know, so yeah. So if you're disabled, I mean, Brazil or any country, man, I think there's more women that will, you know what I mean, that will be genuine while in your remaining time here. And also if you're, retired military. So I don't know how, let me ask further. I don't know how well versed you are with the type of visas or the type of ways guys that want to live in, let's say, Brazil. Are you aware of like the visas options or anything like that?
I haven't looked too much into the visas yet, but I need to, because honestly, next year I'm probably going to try to stay permanently. Like when I go in February, I don't think I'm coming back.
Oh shit, man!
Yeah,
he's that man. You. I'm telling you, if you, the content creators that have lived in different countries for a period of time, they grew exponentially. Like shout out to Ace Live, shout out to I Am Mara, Zoe, International Zoe, Checking Effects, and even BMT. So if you're definitely able to live out the country, you definitely will get a different exponential growth. Mastermind, I wanted to make sure I shot him. He said, them Oak Cliff boys catching up. It's up, new sub. Oak Cliff, that's my hood. Put it in your face if the shit understood. That's some Texas. The Mastermind said, what up, bro? I'm out here in Dallas. I already got my application started. Said Portuguese or pros. This young brother is way ahead of his time. He is, man. You got some talking points, bro, that, you know, I discovered in my late 30s. I think Philippines would be the best disabled best bet. Yeah. Best bet, man. You know, I got questioned on that before. Like, will these women take care of you if you disabled or if you lost your income? Yes. Yes.
There's nothing like American women. Nothing like anything that you could think of. Most of these doubts that dudes are having is just because they're used to or have been programmed to deal with what we got here. And there's nothing like that here.
Nothing, man.
Nothing.
Man. So before I get to my last talking point, man, I just want to, you know, I mean, you said that, man, you might not come back, man. And it's just like, and that's a reality. You know what I mean? You can make money overseas. You're going to be an American for life, so you can always come back. And there's so many countries to live in where the dollar can stretch you out. Like Ace Live, I don't know if you familiar with Ace Live, right?
Yep.
Ace Live, he talked about being in the Vietnam flat broke. And he just it forced him to figure it out. And now he like, you know, one of the biggest black travel YouTubers, you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm married to a Colombian, so I'm going to be in Colombia or South Africa full time because I'm thinking about us living in South Africa. But it's doable, guys. And like I said in the other streams, like most of the travel guys, the passport guys are not broke dudes. You know what I mean? That's a misconception. Like you broke. Like most of the guys that travel have some type of income or know how to manage their money where they can get the most out of it. And you mentioned on one of the streams, I see one of your streams, you talked about how Brazil, yes too. Brazil, yes too. How to go cold turkey in the U.S. Go cold turkey, and you will be amazed how much money you have to travel. So yeah, can you touch up on just going cold turkey?
Honestly, the more exposed you get or the longer you stay, outside the United States, it's not as hard as you think to go cold turkey. Like every time I come back, I've been to South America 3 times this year. I won't be going next time. I'll be going to Asia. But each time I came back, it's like it gave me more and more power to go longer. Well, honestly, the first time I came back, I was fed up. I was kind of upset, like, oh, fuck y'all. I'm not going to talk to y'all at all. And I really didn't slip up at all. But all those, man, when I go through my sheets and I see that how much I was spending on gas, food, drinks, clothes just to go out, that for one weekend, that pays for, that's like a whole month of hanging out, and that's like balling the hell out, that's like fucking off money in Brazil. So what you spend in 3 months, if you decide to travel quarterly, what you would spend in that 3 months, you can probably, the average person might be able to save that's not average. I was about to say 3,000, but I don't think the average person can save that much. But to go to Colombia, you can go to Colombia for under $1,000. Let me just put it that way. Just about everybody can save $1,000 in 3 months.
No,
and if you can't, you need to get your money right first anyway before you travel.
No, facts, man. Yeah, I commend you, man. If you decide to be away, you have that flexibility. You're young, man. There's so many countries, man. You got Brazil, you got Colombia, you got Thailand, even in Africa, Tanzania, and there's other countries where where the economics is in your favor. It's so much you can do out there. You got people that kind of hate. And this is one point I want to make why I got an audience is that people, this is how you rebuke these talking points of exploitation and taking advantage. We live in a capitalist world. Capitalism means that it means rich and poor. It don't mean everybody are the same. So regardless, as long as it's capitalism, there's always going to be poor people. There's always going to be more poor people than rich people. You know what I mean? So if I have money, I have the option to be with a woman with means or a woman without means. We have that choice. So women that are in those situations where they don't have the economic, but anywhere, even in the U.S., women that are not in that top 10%. They are free to make the decision if they want to be with a man that makes more money with them. That's their decision. If I make way more money than my wife, or if you make way more money than your girlfriend, she decided to be with you just like you decided to be with her. You know what I mean? So ain't nobody forced to be in a relationship before to talk to each other. So this exploitation is, you're actually helping them. If you didn't go to if some man didn't go to these countries, there's some women, let's just say it's 200 men that go to the Philippines. If those 200 men with means that go to the Philippines, that means there's 200 women that wouldn't be able to prove their situation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, So people have to kind of be able to refute that. Gail Nelson said, there is a great channel on YouTube, Isla Pamilya. A guy went to the Philippines, found wife that had his kids and still 100 pounds and built their dream home for $18,000. Your dollar really stretches abroad. Facts. But Travel said, at Austin, you plan on hitting Africa? If so, which country first?
Ethiopia. I've always wanted to go to Ethiopia just like Brazil. So I want to go to Ethiopia just as bad as Brazil. I may go there if they're on the same season as us, right?
So Ethiopia, the time zone is different. I went to Ethiopia. So some things to keep in mind that it's very dangerous. I did get got for one of my phones. The women on average aren't as beautiful as you would think based on what you see in the U.S. They have beautiful women, but I'm just saying the average per capita. I was a little disappointed in Ethiopia. I thought every woman was going to be fair skin, long hair, this exotic look, but they niggas just like us. You know what I mean? They got short hair. And it's no knock against Ethiopia, but I put Ethiopia on a pedestal before I went there. So just to give you a heads up, they go ahead.
Cape Verde would be my number 2.
Yeah, Cape Verde, I've never been, but they definitely, in my opinion, I would think they probably would have the most beautiful women in the continent. South Africa is my favorite. You know, if you can visit South Africa, you know, I mean, I would add it. Tanzania is the passport bro country of choice. You know what I mean? So Tanzania, you know, they say the women are very subservient. You know, the dollar goes far, and you know they're very beautiful. So I would definitely put Tanzania on the list as well if you're gonna hit up Africa. You know what I mean? So you know that's just my my 2 cents.
So Cape Verde is the tickets are like $1,500, almost same like Brazil.
Yeah, you might get kept.
Like you can go there often. It looks like they don't have a lot of dates for the flights.
Yeah, if you speak Portuguese, I mean, I heard it was some nice Brazilian or black women in Portugal too.
Yeah, there is. I've been looking at that.
You know, Checking Effects was in Portugal. I seen some potential.
Yeah.
So my last talking point, you know, I mean, this might not apply to everybody that's interested in Brazil, but I have an opinion about this. And since we last talked, I don't know if you got any more information, but you know, Brazil has a treaty with the United States. It's called the Hague Convention. So Brazil is the only country in Latin America outside of Europe, Canada, Australia that has a treaty when it comes to child support. So if you have we all agree that Brazilian women are on a different mentality than American women, but as far as the laws are concerned, as it relates to family court, Brazil has a treaty with the United States, which means that enforcement is the same. So when we talk about child support, people always try to talk about men not wanting to pay. It's not about men not wanting to pay. It's about the tactics that are used to weaponize child support. You know, I haven't heard any things about Brazilian women weaponizing it, but I do have I did interview a brother that's married to a Brazilian woman, and he said that his baby mama, they went to child support. They agreed on a payment. She found out he made more money, and then she tried to go back and get more money, but she was unsuccessful. So my point is that Brazil does have, if you have a child in Brazil, it will feel like you're in the United States with Brazil. So my thing is that don't have kids in Brazil. If you want to get married, you know what I mean, you have to be a brother that maybe older or with a woman that don't want to have kids, or you already have kids. But in my opinion, you know, I mean, I wouldn't choose Brazil to start a family, but I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or if you looked into that, but I wanted to share that.
I would never start a family in the United States or get married. So I thought about Brazil, but you gave me a little more insight. So I probably had to I'm gonna have to do a little more research on that if I would start. But like you said, they're in a different mentality. So the chances of, you know, the typical American woman child support bullshit scheme, like they got it now where they can put you on child support, or they're trying to get it passed at least before the baby's born. What kind of shit is that? That's purely a trap. She can collect payments, but for a baby that might not even make it. What if there's a miscarriage? Then what? Do I get my money back? Like.
And then they don't even. Some don't even want you to do a paternity test or however you call it, before the baby born paternity test.
Yeah, like they're trying to make it now where it's a law where every baby has to be tested when it's delivered, but there are feminists, or I shouldn't call them feminists, they're whores that want to stop that from being passed. And it's like, why would you want to stop that? Well, only a whore would want to stop that, because that means you're just sleeping around.
Exactly. The backlash with all that overturned stuff is all about, like you said, wanting to sleep around, not wanting to use condoms, and then blaming men for wanting too much sex, but they want sex as well. So many contradictions, man. I just don't even try to dissect it anymore, man.
Yeah. And that's why my solution is just leave the country. It's the problems we have here are just stupid.
It's just dumb.
Dumb.
Most people that come to this country only come for money. The United States is an ATM. That's it. It's
refugees and money.
Yeah,
that's it.
Get your money. I start doing things that the foreigners do. The foreigners come here from other countries, they make money and they send it back home. So you say, you know what? I'm gonna do what they do. I'm gonna make money here and send it to a country where I want to build and live at. I'm gonna follow their game plan, man. That's my advice to the fellas. He said, "Is bar da Tijuca popping in Rio?"
Yes.
Facts. It is. Got a couple of clubs. Oh, go ahead.
No, I said that's a must go.
Yeah, must go. What they got? Boate All In, a nice club. The Trini, I think that's what it's called. But yeah, those women look good. They come dressed nice, and you got to be up to par. You know what I mean? Now I will say, I know guys that go to the yard. Y'all like to be casual, wear basketball shorts, flip flops. Very casual. Like Brazil, you got to look nice, smell nice. Tell them about presenting yourself from Brazil, man.
Yeah, a lot of people think, like you said, that you just need some swimming trunks and flip flops and a tank top. But yeah, maybe on the beach when we start talking about going out, especially like in Tijuca, it's almost like being in America. Now without jewelry or have name brands and all, it just has to look very presentable. It's not a third world country.
Facts.
People love saying that. It's just dumb. It's not a third world country.
Tell guys too, man. Like salute is Jay Clyde, man. That is another Brazil content creator, man. Salute, bro. Tell guys, man. Like pause, but tell guys like Brazilian men are competitive. We competing with Brazilian men like they are desired worldwide. So tell guys what they up against when they going in Brazil.
Well, I mean, a lot of them, especially if you go to Casa Black Rio, a lot of them look like us. So they're not, a lot of people think and I'm not gay or nothing, right? But they think it's just like a bunch of like rundown, ugly dudes. These dudes work out too. They take care of themselves. They dress nice. They're not, again, it's not a third world country. You're not competing against people in huts. You're competing against the, regular men.
No, facts, man. I tell guys, they said, as long as you're in shape, anything you wear looks better than if you weren't. Yeah, man. I mean, you definitely want to be nice. I mean, DR, a lot of guys in DR got away with just come as they are. Dominican women, I would say, which is a plus for a lot of men. They are more concerned about how you treat them, and looks is kind of secondary. But Colombia and Brazil on another level, looks is just important. There is a content creator, I won't say his name. He kind of say Brazil, you can you can pick up a lot of regular women, but make no mistake, you gotta have some attraction to really get in the door. Yes, can you be a little overweight, a little not less appealing to get an attractive woman? Yes, but to have your pick, you gotta come with some. You gotta come with some flavor, man. You competing with Brazil. You competing with the. From my research, basically looking at female studies, they like men from Brazil. They like men from Indonesia, because these are places that women travel to for exotic men. Brazil, I think Indonesia. So you are competing against probably men that are more desirable than even men in the United States.
American women are traveling to Brazil to find Brazilian men.
No, not Americans, like European.
Yeah, I say because they're not no competition. They need to stay at home.
No, I mean, yeah. I think there is. I haven't been anywhere where the American woman is considered exotic. Now, I did a stream talk about Nigerian men. Nigerian men, they love Black American women, but their women. When I look at their women, I can see why they desire American women. You know what I mean?
What country?
Nigerians.
Yeah.
You in Texas? There's a lot of Nigerians in Texas, man. They be doing extra, man.
Yeah, I'm not trying to talk down about it. I don't really like their women too much. At least from what I've seen here in the States, it's not. I've never really heard too much about their, anybody just going to Nigeria for women.
No, I mean, most of my Nigerian homies hit up Colombia all the time either. No, and like I said, there's no shot, but all women not the same. You know what I mean? All women not the same. So, you know what I mean? There's a level, there's levels, you know what I mean? There's levels, man. So, but yeah, so that was pretty much my last talking point, man. Don't have kids in Brazil. I personally recommend Brazil for older guys that not looking for kids or guys. Even though I'm not a fan of dating single mothers, but Brazil, if you're not trying to have no kids, either you're gonna have to be older with an older woman, or you're just gonna have to, maybe be with a chick that has a ready-made family. But I wouldn't recommend having kids in Brazil, but ultimately these countries are still better than the United States at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
I definitely deal with a Brazilian single mother before in America. It's a completely different experience. Completely different. But there aren't as many single mothers in Brazil as Colombia, though.
I'm sure they will appreciate it, man. I got somebody just pulled up, man. Brazil, yes, in the building.
What's going on, yo?
What's good, bro, man? How you doing, man?
How's everything, man?
Man, good, man. Trying to get these people, man, game on Brazil, man, and doing it right, man. Let us know what you got, man. We done talked it out, man. Let us know what you got for us, bro.
Oh no, I want to thank you for inviting me up here, man. I got Jay Clouden that was telling me what y'all was saying, so thanks a lot for the support, yo. Man, I gotta do something with y'all more, man.
No doubt, man. You know what? I've been in the YouTube. Well, I should say that I've been in the travel space for a minute, primarily on like Facebook and then WhatsApp groups, and then I recently got into YouTube, maybe like a little over a year. I came across your name a few times, but I never really got to know who you were, man. But I always seen that Brazilian flag, man. So, you know what I mean? Let the people that don't know, man, you know what I mean, your Brazilian resume, man.
What could I say? I went to Brazil. I can't figure out the year, but it was earlier. It was probably like 2014, 15. It was like I needed to go, yo. And when I got there, it was cool. The state of Rio has like 27 million people alone. There's 6.7 million people are in actually the city of Rio. So it's like it was a big deal for me. Different cultures, different things you hear about the culture, different events happening like Rock in Rio. You got Carnival, you got stuff that's happening around October with the Halloween. You got you got many of their festivals in their like observances for like different religions. So I was like, yo, let me go see about this. I used to do blog talk radio like back in the day.
Okay.
And when I did blog talk radio, this guy was telling me about Belize. So then I looked at the screen. I saw Brazil. I saw this lady in this little attire, and I was like, "Yo, what the hell is this?" So I clicked on Brazil and saw their history with slavery and all of that type of stuff. So I put everything together. I was like, "Yo, I want to go check out and see what Brazil is about," and that's exactly what I did, yo. So I went there. First meeting there, I tried Tinder and I mastered Tinder. I had several women waiting on me, but Leia was like one of my focuses. Yeah. So I looked at her, chopped it up with her, connected with her, and then we made something happen when I got there. She's introduced me to the locals, all of the favelas and stuff like that. So I had a different experience than most fellas, because around that time, Tinder was just popping off.
Right.
Tinder was just popping off around that time. So they was making adjustments and making enhancements. So I made it happen like that. So I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the first time going out. And I went there 17 times after my first time going, with only making $28,000 a year, yo.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's possible, yo. If you really want it, if you want to get to the travels and you want to go to these places, yo, you put your head down and work, you could get there.
So how exactly did you do it off of 28,000?
I would just stack saving money. What I do is I did side jobs also. I did little side jobs. Like I was in HVAC. So I would make like $3,000 for a job. So it just wasn't that 28,000. It was extra money on top of it. I did HVAC. I did refrigeration. I did all type of repairs and stuff like that. So I would use that skill to get even more money. And then at that time, around that time, I was still like, I wrote my first book. So I was still selling books on the street regardless. And it had nothing to do with travel. My first book had nothing to do with travel.
Wow. 28,000. What year was that?
This was like 2014, probably about 2014, 2015.
Man. I commend that, man. I commend that. So I watched the stream. I watched one of your videos, man, and you were just speaking Portuguese, man. And you another brother, man, that I've heard that can speak pretty good Portuguese, man. How did you get Portuguese down, man? And kind of how long did it take for you to get your fundamentals down?
Like it was crazy because I was listening to it. People don't believe it, but I was listening to it 19 hours a day. Woke up in the middle of the night, would take it out. I do 3 hours a day. Even now, I do 3 hours a day while learning Hebrew. While learning, I'm learning a little bit of Polish, but Polish is like real tough because I can't practice it with anybody. But I can always practice Hebrew with Hebrews, right? Because they're everywhere. But Portuguese, it was like I wanted it. So I started listening to YouTube videos. The first word I learned in Portuguese was cobra. Cobra. That means like to charge or cover or something like that. So it's like, yo, you got me? You got me covered? Like, so, yo, you gonna charge me for this? So that's the first word I learned. And the first sentence I learned was "Quanto cobra alugar alugar mês?" So I was like, yo, I was like, yo, let me try to focus on like really getting this language. So then I started practicing the numbers, and then I started practicing the days of the weeks, and just the overall. But then I was like, yo, forget this. Yo, we English. We got an Anglo brain. Let me see how I can form sentences. So I went to this dude on YouTube called Professor Jason. And I said this for years. Professor Jason, he gives out a lot of knowledge. He's giving you, like the first video I watched of his was the most verbs used in Portuguese or something like that. The number 21 verbs to use in Portuguese. And I would watch that video morning, noon, and night. Morning, noon, and night. Morning, noon. And I just kept pumping in my system. Then I downloaded something. It's a key. And I want your audience, hopefully I could give out this information. They could take it. I downloaded iTunes, what is it? iTunes or TuneIn. And TuneIn was an app that I downloaded years ago. And if you download TuneIn, like it's called TuneIn, yeah, Tune and with a dash with IN, but it might be different right now. They might got a different display. So I downloaded TuneIn, and on TuneIn, if you put in beginner Portuguese on TuneIn, you'll see all of these channels that pop up. They're teaching Portuguese for free.
Wow.
For free. You don't have to pay anything. And they got a subsection on one of the videos. It's called Falado. Falado means spoken. And if you go, it says Falado. He got actual lessons where he teach you Spanish and Portuguese at the same time. You got to go look at. He's teaching you both. So when the lady finished doing Portuguese, they come with a Spanish speaker from, I think he's from Ecuador, and he teaches you Spanish at the same time. So that's how I was learning Spanish and Portuguese at the same exact time.
Wow, simultaneously, man. That's what's up, man. How would you rate your Portuguese compared to other Brazilian travelers that you're familiar with?
Ooh, I'm probably up there, man. I'll be hearing some of these guys, and I'm probably up there. But at least they're trying. Like, I don't want to think like Dennis Jean-Pierre he's an influence to me. As long as I've been speaking, I hear him speak it. And he knows for a fact that I'm legit. When you hear people like that speak it, and people like that or motivate you, yo. So I get motivation from hearing cats speak it and actually being on the ground with them. I actually met him. So we got a chance to chop it up. Y'all felt his energy, very positive, because y'all know I'm big on energy. If I feel something off on you, I don't deal with you. I don't deal with you at all. Like, I don't even speak to you. You can walk up to me, say, what's up? I'm going to look at you like you crazy because I'm big on energy. And all of the cats that I met, the Ace Lives that I met, the Dennis Jean-Pierre, the Mikes, the Barber World, all of these guys were cool, yo. All of these guys were very cool in person. And that energy is needed in this travel game. So Dennis Jean-Pierre is like, he's an influence, he's an inspiration. I don't really hear other people speak it because they mainly be in the comment sections. They mainly be listening to the shows and they say they know how to speak it, but I didn't get a chance to like really chop it up with him. So he's the only one that I really see be on it and like really going out there, speaking to the locals and putting it to the test.
Facts. Austin Holloman can speak good Portuguese, at least from what the little that I heard. He enunciates very well. The language, you know what I mean. So
shout out to him, yo. Because Portuguese, I was talking to a lady from Sao Paulo the other day. She said, "Do you know it's very hard to learn Portuguese with no teacher, with no help, no anything?" She said it's very, very difficult, but for you to pick it up. So, yo, if he picked it up, man, shout out to you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, shout out to him because it's very difficult. And he knows that is difficult learning this language because I'm still baffled that I be forgetting words. Like, I'll be like, yo, how did you miss that? And I go back and refresh my brain and speak to I find everybody I can that speaks Brazilian Portuguese to learn with them, even Portuguese. Like, I meet some people from Portugal, but they got some type of bias toward people from Brazil in a way. I'll be sensing a little bias or so that's why I just stick to the Brazilian Portuguese.
Nah, facts, man. I mean, I'm pretty good at I got my fundamentals out for Spanish, man, and Portuguese is I try to use Spanish. I thought I could be slick and use Spanish in Brazil. Hell no.
Oh shit. They didn't understand it?
Hell no. I mean, even como estás is different in pronunciation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I brought my wife from Colombia to Brazil, and she was lost. She couldn't communicate. It's like como estás in Spanish is like, what is it? Como está in Portuguese? If I'm pronouncing it right.
It's the same thing. Like I never had a pronunciation. I said como estás. So they might say comos. So they always do the S with an H. So they might say comos, como estás. You see what I'm saying? So it's like a SH with it. So that's what the pronunciation might be different with as far as that. So, but as far as anything else, that's they understand me like como vai. Like that's my go-to. Like when you can't say como estás, say como vai. Como vai is universal in Spanish as well as Portuguese. It's the same thing. So I say como vai brasileiro. Like I say, como vai brasileiro? Falando comigo. Like, eu preciso ser ajuda com isso. You see what I'm saying? So I start speaking like that. So and then they wake up. They be like, okay, like you got to wake their brains up sometime.
From both of y'all opinion, man, how do women eyes light up when they hear an American speak Portuguese? What is the reaction that you've seen? Both of you.
Yeah, Austin can go.
I'm gonna let you go with that one because I haven't really know. It's not like the same in Spanish when I was in Colombia. It seemed like they were a lot more excited in Colombia. I guess because they have more sex tourists in Colombia than Brazil. So they're like, oh, finally one that's not here just for pay for play. Versus Brazil. Like I said, for me, when we were out there, the dude I went with, he any Portuguese, so they kind of worked with him. But I mean, they do like that. But I think they're a lot more cooperative with the language in Brazil.
They be so shocked. Just lay in the bed. I'm gonna be real with you. To lay in the bed with a woman who she says she doesn't meet many men that are speaking from our particular country, and to lay in the bed and have a conversation with her, with no problem, that's the dopest thing you can do, That's one of the dopest things because you start hearing more about her culture when she's more relaxed and she's your girlfriend and she's rocking with you. Or she's your significant other, she's your lady out in Brazil. You start hearing like the different gripes that they go through, and you start hearing all about their culture. You start hearing the real nuances of family life and stuff like that. So, it's so dope. But for a regular person on the street, like at a restaurant and stuff, they like if you like. I was with a table full of Americans who nobody spoke Portuguese. So the lady will run up to you and she'll say, like, you'll be the go-to for all the information for the table. It shocks them when that happens. So, but they always get amazed by it. They always respect it. It shines a different light for American men or United States of American men going to countries like that. And they saying, well, they just not here for a particular reason. They actually know our language. So it does that trigger for them. It says, oh, he's not a fly by night. And then when you explain to them, like when I tell them and start speaking to them, asking them questions, do they have kids? How is the family life here? Oh, my bad. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, I can see.
Oh, my bad. So when I start asking them particular questions, it's a light, it's like that just illuminates. And then when they see you again, it's like they want to damn near hug you. It's like literally they want to damn near hug you, or they give you, Brazilians always giving you kisses on the cheek. People don't understand that Brazilian culture is very, very mouthy. And I'm talking about mouthy as far as like vocally, as well as they love the kiss on the cheek. So they run up to you and want to kiss you on the cheek because it's not, you're like an anomaly. You're something that's not normal. Like you're not usual for what they see every day, especially if you got my skin color, as dark as I am. So it's really gonna be a trigger to them to say, damn, this dude knows all about my culture. He knows all about my history. And you start breaking down all of this stuff. And they always ask you, this question always comes no matter what. How did you learn my language? it comes no matter what. How do you learn my language? And I always say, aprendeu sozinho, no apartamento, assistindo televisão. And so they were like, what? And I'll be laughing and I add nuances to it. I said, I learned in my apartment watching television. And they were like, nah, you couldn't have learned in your apartment. I said, yes, I did. So it just shocks them.
Wow, man. See, I mean, it's an advantage, man. I never, like I told guys before, like I've had girlfriends in DR and Colombia, but I never had a girlfriend in Brazil. Like the closest I had, I met her at a nightclub. We kissed, we danced. I had a Brazilian friend that actually got her to dance with me because I couldn't speak Portuguese. So we spoke to her, and she started dancing with me. You know, in Brazilian culture, you can kiss in the club. Like making out in the club is like normal.
Normal, yeah.
I mean, and like when I used to try to keep in touch with her, I'll be like, man, like why you not giving me no chance? She was like, because you're not here enough. You don't speak my language. So she just really kind of faded away, and I was kind of disappointed because she was like a really sweet girl, but I just didn't have the tools to keep her, man. So,
I don't know if I experienced that though. I don't know if Austin experienced or you experienced it, Rob, but I experienced like, yo, the prettier the woman is, or the more cultured she is, the less cultured she is in trying to be out there partying. They call it safado. So we safados, women are safadas. So safada mean like she just a little freaky type of, you know what I mean? Okay. But sometimes they have that mentality without being that. For instance, you might have a Brazilian woman who's very cultured, but she sees her friends party and she sees just like it is in the United States. And the prettier they are, the less they're going to wait for you. In one of my books, I wrote about this. The prettier, so for instance, if you're talking to somebody on Tinder, or if you met somebody while you're there, and she's always going to ask you when you're going to return. Depending on your time length for your return, that's the less she's going to wait for you, bro. So if you say, yo, I'll be back in a month, you don't show up till about 3 months later, depending on how she looked, she probably moved on already long time ago. And it's just the way it is because they like that energy. They like the expression. They like the match your energy as a masculine man with theirs. It's just part of their nature. They say women in the United States are romantic. Bull. I don't know no woman in the United States of America that's romantic in my lifetime. But when I went to Brazil, their romance is on a whole different level. So seeing that and being a part of that, you'll understand that they only going to wait a certain time, and especially if they have that clock ticking. Foreign women have the clock ticking also. In China, like a place like China, we could use this and juxtapose it to Brazil. If you want to say China, they might have a cutoff. A woman could be 25 years old, and all of a sudden, that's her clock ticking. Nobody want her. She's too old. Well, Brazil, they have the same type of processes when it comes to family or when it comes to that limit. It might be a little bit later, being that Brazil has a lot more tourists or whatever like that reaching certain parts. Other parts, they just still be be part of their familiar structure. I don't know if Austin experienced that. He could go ahead.
No, I'm listening to you. I definitely agree. You got a lot more experience. I'm listening.
Man, Austin, I heard you out there doing it, bro. Jay Cloudon was telling me you out there hitting the ground, and your energy is very positive, man.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to. Whenever I go back to Brazil in February, I'm trying to stay for at least 2 months. So I actually want to go all the way with this time and get some more experience because I hate
2 months.
Yeah,
man. 2 months.
So I'm thinking about another aspect of Brazil. So genetically and socially, Brazil is a very masculine culture. Like when I say genetically, like I've been to like DR Colombia. The men are typically shorter. They have less brawn than a black man. But I've seen Brazilian men, cops, 6'6", 6'4", swole. You know what I mean? And so like genetically, they're more masculine. Obviously, they're a little bit more aggressive towards their women, which makes women more feminine. They're more feminine because they have a high masculinity, man. Anybody want to touch on that?
I don't, Austin.
Yeah, I would definitely agree about the cops. The men in general, like you said, are a lot more aggressive. I don't know if I told you before. I actually had a run-in with the police the first time I went. Did I tell you about that? Yeah, so we were going to Barra da Tijuca, and the little checkpoints they have coming in and out of the city. We went through one of those, and he told us to pull. Well, first he didn't know it was an Uber, I guess. So he saw the driver, and he was like, "Oh, go." And then he looked again. He's like, "Oh, pull over." And when the car is pulling over, he put the gun on the window, was screaming like, "Get out, get out!" And I was like, "What the fuck?" And so we put our hands up, and I wasn't gonna do any moving because from the United States, the slightest move means you're getting shot. The other cop came and put his gun on the window and opened my homeboy door, came and opened my door, put it all in my face. It was like right here, like that far away from my face. He turned the laser on. He was asking me what was I doing here, and I just told him I didn't know what was happening. We just going to the club over here on the other side. He telling me to shut up and then put the gun closer in my face. I was like, shit, he about to shoot me. I kind of had accepted death for a minute. I was like, okay, he not even calming down. I told him he's from the United States, and they both put their guns down and was like, relax. And then I didn't move. He's like, oh, relax, sir, relax, sir. He was like, get back in the car. We got back in the car, asked for the ID, and just told us to leave.
Yeah, they'll hem you up in Brazil.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they will.
But yeah, they're a lot more masculine. I would agree with that. Yeah, but I'll let you elaborate on that one.
Yeah, it's like a threat. Like I heard an American woman. One of my boys dated her, Austin and Rob. He dated her. He brought her to Brazil because that's like his wife. So he brought her. She's part of the Brazilian culture also. She's American though. So he brought her there, and guess what she said? She said in Brazil she feels feminine. An American woman says she goes to Brazil, she leaves America and feels feminine in Brazil. You know why? And I got to the point. Because there's a threat of violence there. Let's just be real. Men don't play that. Like, and not all saying men are going to just go around in Brazil hitting women. No, that's not what I'm saying. So let's not twist my words or that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that the men, there's not a structured system like there is in America in certain aspects in Brazil. So when she feels feminine there, that means that anything can possibly happen. Wow. That means somebody having a bad day. That means even though they're very cordial, even though Brazilians are very nice, even though they could pop off instantly, but it has to be something that triggers them to pop off.
Right.
And she knows that she doesn't have that safety net like she has in America, where they could be all up in the man's face and you can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. You can't touch her. You can't do anything. And you got to take verbal abuse from the women in the United States of America. So when she went down there, she admitted all of this. When she went down there, she feels like, I feel more like I need a man's help, or I need to be under the tutelage or arm of a man. So yeah, dudes are the way they are, and they should be like that. So shout out to Brazil.
Facts, man. You got to be more softer in your tone if you don't want to trigger somebody. You know what I mean? Yep. So that brings out, I say that brings out the bitch in you. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Brazil also a place you don't want to go to jail in, by the way.
Yeah, you don't.
I've seen some stories with that, man. So yes, man, I want to ask, have you been to any cities in Brazil outside of like Rio or let's say Sao Paulo?
Yeah. I've been to Espírito Santo. I've been to Recife. I've been to Salvador Bahia. I've been to the Amazon. I've been to Brasilia. Brazil is like a stop through. So I can't really count that. So I'm not gonna really count it. I've been to Sao Paulo. I've been to Fortaleza, and I've been to one more. Oh my God. I can't think. I'll think in a second. But I've been to like 7 different states out there.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, I've been to 7 different states, and let me just tell you, Brazil is very different. They got a Brazilian right there. Como vai, brasileira? Tudo bem? Oh, você cachorro? Você cachorro? Oh, obrigado. See, she's from Sao Paulo. I ask her, who dog is that? but so that's the thing. The thing is, like, I've been to the Espírito Santo is totally different from going to Rio, yo. Right. The different. Damn, she smells so good. You can smell her perfume just coming up here. Brazilian women love taking baths, so that's dope.
What state are you in?
In America, in Atlanta with Grego.
Oh, okay.
Me and Grego stay in the same area. So out of nowhere, she like you go to the Espírito Santo, and the crazy part about it is, the city is just so calming, yo. It's just so relaxing, and people really don't bother you. People will walk by you, speak to you, walk by you, and don't bother you. You could sit on the beach, you could just chill, and you got to remember that's a city that Queen Victoria, the queen back in the day, that's the city that she frequented. She actually frequented Espírito Santo. That's the state that she frequented. So her statue is out there, and that's what you see. I got videos with me flying a drone around her statue. So it's like, yo, you go to different states in Brazil, the Amazon. People saw me on live stream walking down through the Amazon, hot in the mug. It was like 100 degrees that day. They said, yo, the restaurant is right there. I end up walking 30 minutes. I was like, oh, it's too late to walk back. Dude stopped me in the middle of the Amazon, said, hop on. But luckily I knew how to speak Portuguese, or else I would have been screwed. He said, yo, get on the bike. I said, no. He said, no, get on the bike. He's telling me in Portuguese, get on the bike. And their accents in the Amazon is a little bit different when you go from Rio. So he asked me to get on. I tried to pull money out of my pocket. I pulled a knot of hay ice out. I peeled off like 300 hay ice. I said, here you go. He said, no. I was like, what you mean no? He was like, no, I'm not taking nothing from you. And he got on the moped and put his helmet, went around the corner, went the opposite way and beeped the horn at me. And he wouldn't take the money. That's how dope Brazil is when you go to these different parts. And people say, yo, where can I find a girlfriend or wife? I said, yo, you got 26 states in Brazil. Pick. Pick. But I'm tired of over talking. My bad. Go ahead, Austin. My bad.
No, I'm learning from you. I'm learning.
No, you good, man. No, I mean I like the wisdom and knowledge, man. We got from new to more experienced, seasoned guys, man. And
shout out to Austin. He got the streets rocking.
We got the streets, man. You know what I mean?
Shout out to you.
We need the energy. We need the younger folks to have a voice or a person that they resonate with. As long as with the guys that's been doing it, man. I don't consider myself a Brazil vet, but I have probably been to the most cities in Brazil than an average traveler at 14. So, you know, I mean, I try to give my flavor, man. But in closing out, so I'm going to just kind of give my closing thoughts, and then I'll pass it to y'all guys, man. But my closing thoughts on Brazil, man. So one message I said is that I think Brazil is a great place, you know, I mean, to live, to retire, possibly find a wife or have a girlfriend. I am a little apprehensive on having children in Brazil because they mimic the U.S. and how they do enforcement, especially in a situation where you're not with that woman you have a child with. But if you want to be in a childless marriage or a marriage where you're not having a child, I think that's okay. And yeah, like you said, man, visit other cities, learn the language, and you know, the things I love about Brazil culture and women is the casual dating culture. So if you're a guy that wants to be single, you're not interested in marriage, you just want to date and have fun, Brazil is probably in my opinion, probably the best, maybe second to Thailand. Well, it's a lot of countries you could casual date in, but Brazil is probably like one of the top countries as far as casual dating. You know what I mean? If a woman goes out with you, she don't go out with a man she's not gonna have sex with, opposed to the United States where a woman will go out with you with no intentions of having sex with you. That's the number one difference. Going out, like I said, going out in the clubs, you can have it's more affection, kissing, touching, things of that nature. And then I will say for guys, man, if you didn't think you had a high sex drive, Brazil will show you if you have a high sex drive or not, because them women can go on for on, man. But in closing, man, I want you guys to kind of give a game on for men that how their life needs to be set up or should be set up if they want to spend at least 30 plus days in Brazil.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, for me, I'm a barber. So right now I'm self-employed, so I have control over my own schedule. But as we speak, day by day, I'm selling my stuff, cancel subscriptions, trying to close all ties to the United States. So basically, what I'm going at most, I'm going to be paying is rent, and I'm trying to get rid of that and put all my stuff in the storage, like you said earlier. You want to have your money we're in 2022, so you want your money to be made online. For example, my way would be YouTube right now, so I can make money without having to be in the United States. But yeah, I think those are the two most important things: is cut all your ties to the United States and have, online income.
Right.
And no kids.
Facts.
You're right. But what was the question? I don't.
Oh, what would be your roadmap, or what game would you give? Or I would say, how should guys' life be set up, or how should they set their life up to be able to be in Brazil for, let's say, 30 to 90 days?
When I went for 30 days, when I first started going in that first year, I don't know. You just got to have employment that's going, because there's plenty of times where I was going to go live in Brazil and I changed my mind. Because if I go, I want to go for 20 years. You see what I'm saying? So in order for me to do that, I got to have a certain threshold of income. Now, Austin works for himself. You get what I'm saying? I work as a trainer for a company dealing with HVAC. So I teach cats how to make the great money doing it, to where they don't have to worry about something, and just stack that 100 grand, 150 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand, however they start off, just stack it to the side. But that's the only thing I could say from a 9 to 5 perspective. You got to get, my bank account got to show hundreds of thousands before I'm content. You see what I'm saying? It's got to show a lot of money before I'm content, and that's the only way I'm going there. But for 30 days is easy. 30 days, just stack your money. Tell the company that you're going to work for, that you're leaving out. Like Austin said, if you want to be a digital nomad, work off the computer, have different incomes coming in from online. I could go there right now. I could go live in Brazil. I could go live in Europe. I could go live anywhere right now as we speak. But I'm not going because it's not my threshold. You see, I got, my discipline says you have to be at this certain economic mark. Hell, I done spent over $100,000 traveling already. So I'm like, so it's like I want to be at a certain threshold. I'm gonna still go keep having fun until I get to that threshold and to comfortability, then I can go. So I got t-shirts that I sell online. I got 22 books that I wrote that's doing very well at this moment since my channel was growing. So I got that. I have consultations that everybody do. A lot of us who do the travel, people want to talk to us. They're like, yo, how can I get your time? So I rarely do it because it's like every time I do consultations, it goes in one end out the other, and I hate to see those results. So it might be my selfishness, but I got stuff like that. You get what I'm saying? And I got people selling other stuff for me, how I got to this point to where I went from 28,000, or I got people who called me and say about different classes, and I can do consultations of like computer courses over the internet with HVAC from Brazil, from Europe, from Africa that got good internet. I can do that because I make great money doing it, and I've been doing it for a long time. So it is a plethora of ways. Like, especially me, I make enough online to go live in a country right now. So I'm like, if you bring it in, Jay Clyde said he got to be bringing in 6,000. Grego might be a little bit less, but I feel that I have to be like, right now I'm about 4 to 5 grand in what's coming in online, but that's still not enough for me because I give to a lot of these organizations. I give to a lot of these places. So I give to schools in Brazil. I give, like right now, I'm still giving to schools. I'm the only one left. She said, oh, I haven't received anything from your guys that you used to send my way. I said, well, those guys are gone. It's just me here. So I peel off a little couple thousand here go for you. Go help out the children and not for it's for her to build up the school, not particularly for the children, because I didn't make those babies. I ain't trying to take care of them. But all I'm saying is I'm giving to the school because she's doing a good thing in her community. That's all I'm doing. I do it here in the States. So it's like it's like if you want to build it up, you can, depending on how much you want coming in and going out, how much you got. Like, you got to determine all of those things for you to really have a good life. Have a dope lifestyle overseas. I don't want to be struggling. I don't want to be cutting costs and pennies and stuff like that. If I'm overseas, I want to live how I live in the United States of America. I just want to do that. It's just me. Others might not want to do that. They might be ready to leave out, but I have to have a certain economic threshold or some economics coming in to meet that threshold to me to feel comfortable. And I got all of the avenues right now, but I'm still not content. I want more. So that's the only thing I can say. Learn the rent systems in these places that you're going to, like Brazil, because you seen Yusuf Latif, RIP to him.
Yeah,
go to his channel. Yusuf Latif, he taught how to transition yourself. Go to his channel, YUSEF WATEEF. Go to his channel. He taught you how to transition your life or to transition life. But he died during COVID. He caught COVID and he had complications from it, so he passed. So, but he gave good information. He got a channel with hundreds of videos, giving you good content from transitioning. Know the rent costs. Know the location that you want to live in. That's not, but like know how much the sewage system. Know if you want to have a wife or girlfriend, if you're trying to settle down in these countries, how much that's going to cost. Implement that in your totals. So I already know where I'm going with this. So when I'm ready to go, like Austin, when I'm ready to go, I'm selling everything, dropping everything. I ain't really got to sell anything. I could just give everything away. But because I don't really have nothing. I keep my stuff very concise and very empty and simplistic. Simplicity is the mother of all wisdom. So I keep it very simple. And that way, when I'm ready like Austin, I could just go. So he ready to sell his stuff, like I'm ready to sell a little bit or give the little bit I have away. Except that 80-inch TV, I just bought it. That motherfucker too big. I paid $2,000 for that thing. But besides that, I'm ready to go.
Facts, man. I put the link. Shout out to Yusuf Latif, man. RIP, man. That brother was a good brother, man. He was married. He was divorced. So he gave a lot of game on being married and or divorced. Just a lot of game, man. So, he's one of the other fallen brothers. Also, rest in peace, Charles Tyler, which is one of, I would say one of the pioneers, man, on getting brothers, black men to travel to Brazil. He was another fallen brother, Brazil, man. RIP to Mark Lyles. He was a big Brazil traveler as well, and others that I may not be able to mention, man. But yeah, in clothing, as far as living in Brazil for at least 30 days, which I'm pushing, guys, you have to set your life up for that, whether it's a job where you can get more vacation time. And like I mentioned, you can negotiate more vacation time when you apply for jobs. I'm a contract worker, so I take contracts instead of full-time employment. So I could work a 9-month contract or however long contract you work. When that contract ends, instead of me looking for another job, I will I ain't gonna say instead of looking for another job. In the interim while I'm looking for jobs, I will be in the country for a month at a time. And then you got guys that are retired, you got guys that are truck drivers, you got guys that work from the computer. So these are, ways that you can be in Brazil for at least 30 days, man. If y'all not subscribed or not familiar with any of these guys' channel, their channels, I will hyperlink them in the title of this stream. So all you gotta do is click on their name, and it'll go straight to the channel. So Brazil Yesh, that's his name on YouTube, and Austin Holloman, that's his name of his YouTube as well. I want to say, man, I appreciate y'all brothers for pulling up, man. It means a lot. Passport Bros channel is my second channel. My primary channel is the No Excuse ENT channel, but this channel is specifically for the Passport Bros and for us to have conversations on trending news, safety, what's going on, and connecting with people, and me introducing travel bros to, to my audience, man. So I appreciate y'all coming up, man.
Appreciate you having me.
For sure, man. So that's all I got for y'all, man. I'll see y'all probably next Friday, man, when I go into my credit repair series for the Passport Bros. And peace out, man. Y'all have a good remaining Saturday evening. afternoon.
You as well.
Yeah. Got the flight book, it's a library. I'm in the deal. Just took a flight to Bora and foreign cars like foreigners. Berry on her. Up in France, bitch, poncho. I been come to go soon. We going Paris tomorrow. Only Paris we carry, spin at the mall. We doing the same alone. My diamonds be saying, add some more change. That's the same alone. Dripping all the way from home and taking the wrong. Got the flight book, it's a library. We ain't flying solo. Tune in to the show. It's the Passport Bros. No excuse entertainment. Jay Slay on the show. Turn it up some more. It's the Passport Bros.